In the mud-soaked trenches of World War I, a saying echoed amid the roar of artillery. There are no atheists in foxholes. As night fell, mustard gas mingling with acrid smoke, every soldier wondered, when I take my last breath, what awaits me? That simple seismic question drove humanity toward countless beliefs, philosophies, and mysterious legends beyond reason's grasp. Today, we don't return to those muddy trenches, but embark on another journey, where souls, memories, and dreams from the past converge in the fiery haze of World War II. Buckle your mind's seatbelt, for the fog of war looms thick, hiding the most unbelievable truths. Ethan Carter was born in 1998 in a modest Ohio town where green fields bordered Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. This base wasn't just home to modern fighters, but shrouded in aviation secrets and rumors of the fabled Area 51. Raised by Mike, a Fort Bragg veteran, and Sarah, a mother wrestling with faith, young Ethan inherited a love for planes, tales of America's wars. The Carter family's afternoon ritual was simple: a hot Big Mac, the crackle of a VHS player, and Top Gun's scenes of Tom Cruise soaring through clouds. Then, at 2 years old, everything shifted. One night, with the bedside lamp off, Ethan woke screaming from a nightmare. Roaring engines, fiery streaks in his eyes, a man trapped in a cockpit, shouting in despair. His childish cries pierced the house, sending Mike and Sarah racing to his room, hearts frozen. They clutched Ethan, wiping sweat mingled with tears. But the dream didn't end. His halting words, plane on fire, anti-aircraft guns, choking in flames, belonged not to a world of teddy bears and storybooks. The morning after that first nightmare, Sarah couldn't shake her unease. She caught Ethan staring at an old wall photo where Mike hung a poster of a U.S. Navy F-4U Corsair, the plane that roared over the Pacific in the 1940s. Ethan, toddling on tiny feet, pointed at the wing slots, asking, "Is that a drop tank, Mommy?" Sarah froze. Drop tank wasn't toy talk, but a niche military term unfamiliar even to her, who'd packed passports for her soldier husband. From then, Carter afternoons changed. Ethan began drawing. Shaky pencil lines formed harrowing dogfights. His sketches showed ashen plains plummeting, skies stained red, steel husks twisted in fire. He meticulously dotted Mitsubishi Zeros, hulking Betty bombers, and a sleek Corsair slicing through. The tiny artist signed Ethan 3 in the corner, as if declaring this wasn't just ordinary Ethan, but Ethan the Third, a cryptic title. Before his second birthday, the family took Ethan to Dayton's Air Force Museum. He fixated on an F-4U Corsair under warm golden lights, silent, not fussing. He stood, hands clasped in awe, as if reuniting with a lost friend. Mike grinned. This little guy's more into aviation than I was. But leaving, Ethan couldn't part with the legendary plane. He wailed as if torn from something sacred, leaving Mike, Sarah stunned. The nightmares persisted. Ethan once dreamed of a pierced engine, oil spraying, fire erupting in a cramped cockpit. He screamed, "Where's Tom Larson? Save me!" In the dream, a man's faint voice echoed, fading amid howling wind, bleeding wounds. Each morning, Ethan woke with panicked eyes, instinctively grasping his mother's hand. Mike couldn't wait longer. He, a man who'd seen comrades fall in Vietnam's coal-choked jungles, heard tales of shadows roaming forests, sought truth. He dug through old military records, queried veteran forums, called the Pentagon. Hidden witnesses emerged. The USS Liberty was indeed an escort carrier serving near Iwo Jima in 1945. Its pilot roster listed Tom Larson, a survivor, and Robert Bobby Mitchell, 21, killed March 3, 1945, when his FM-2 Wildcat was shot down. Oddly, Ethan spoke of a Corsair, but details, the flight, crash site, cockpit burns, matched eerily. A call was arranged between 5-year-old Ethan and Bobby's sister, Emily Mitchell. On screen, Ethan stared, whispering, "Emmy, it's Bobby." Emily, now in her 70s, gasped, collapsing in tears. Ethan spoke of their alcoholic father, his rehab stint, a self-portrait their artist mother painted by the village. These mundane details sprang forth, evidence of a memory transcending time. At 6, the Carters were invited to a USS Liberty pilots reunion in San Diego. There, Ethan stunned the room, recognizing Jack Reynolds by voice alone. "You were my co-pilot." He listed ship specs, plane counts, anti-aircraft positions as if he'd lived aboard. Ethan's story spread, prompting a Japanese group to fund a trip to Iwo Jima. At sunset over the sea, he scattered flowers where the Wildcat's wreck lay hidden. Gazing at the calm water, Ethan murmured, "Bobby's at peace." His face held an indescribable serenity. Yet, amid reality and myth, no final answer emerged. Was Ethan truly host to a past pilot's soul, or gifted with uncanny imagination? Only he, perhaps Robert Mitchell's spirit, knew. One thing was certain: when war's fog lifted, memories didn't stay in books, but could cross time, touch tender hearts, awaken faith in the inexplicable. If this story chills you, share it. Leave a comment. Do you believe in reincarnation, or is it just imagination? Hit subscribe to catch more mysteries from battlefields and beyond, where brave hearts await tales defying reality's limits. Night after night in the quiet Ohio suburban home, as darkness draped the windows, the piercing screams of a 2-year-old echoed. Mike and Sarah, seasoned by military discipline and barrages from their Fort Bragg days, were never prepared for this. Ethan's bedroom door nudged open, revealing the boy writhing on his small bed, face flushed with sweat, hands clutching the blanket as if battling an invisible force. Mike's heart raced while Sarah, despite countless sleepless nights caring for her child, couldn't suppress a shiver each time Ethan muttered through gasping breaths. "Plane crashing. Fire. The man can't get out." Witnessing this, Sarah enveloped Ethan, whispering softly, "It's just a bad dream. You're okay. Mommy's here." But when she gently asked, "Who's the man, sweetheart?" Ethan cracked his eyes, still alight with fear, stared at her and said, "It's me." The voice of a 2-year-old, yet it tolled like a death knell, chilling Sarah's spine. It felt as if another soul, aged and worn, borrowed her son's tiny frame to recount final moments in a flaming warplane. The first wave of fiery dreams began just before Ethan's 2nd birthday. That day, the Carters took him to the Aviation Museum in Dayton, near Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, a site famed not only for its pivotal role in Air Force history, but also for rumors of Area 51 and mythical crafts in blurry photos. Barely reaching the wheel wells of displayed planes, Ethan's eyes blazed, fixed on an F-4U Corsair, the legendary Navy warhorse that thundered over the Pacific in the 1940s. He stood silent, breaths steady, lips moving as if conversing with an unseen friend. Mike, a veteran of grueling cold-weather drills, chuckled half-jokingly. "Watch out. This kid'll want a pilot's life before he rides a bike." But as they left the museum, Ethan's wails erupted. He clung to the Corsair's propeller, eyes red, voice choked. "I don't want to go. I stay with it." Seeing this, Mike and Sarah realized beneath his childish innocence lay an unusual yearning beyond mere fascination with machines. Less than a week after the museum, Sarah noticed stranger signs. Passing a small toy shop, she pointed to a model fighter jet with an object under its wing, resembling a bomb. Thinking it intrigued her son, she explained, "That's a falling bomb. Want to buy it?" Ethan shook his head gravely, voice matter-of-fact. "Not a bomb, Mommy. It's a drop tank." Sarah froze. Drop tank, a term even she, a soldier's wife accustomed to Mike's war stories, barely knew. She stared at her son, heart racing, wondering how a 2-year-old grasped such a complex military concept. It didn't stop there. Ethan increasingly showed expert signs of air combat knowledge. One afternoon, at the desk with crayons, he suddenly drew a chaotic scene. Planes plunging into the sea, flames rising like demons, metal fragments glinting at dusk. He carefully noted beside it, Iwo Jima battle, USA versus Japan. 0, Betty, Corsair. When Mike saw, he paused, hand trembling as it touched the grim lines. This wasn't a child's fancy, but a vivid report of a battle 6 decades past. By night, the drawing's images surged back in Ethan's dreams. Panic didn't just haunt his toddler bed, but seeped into Mike and Sarah each time they closed his door. Sarah lay awake, wondering. Was her son channeling another soul to relive final moments? Mike, who'd faced death in trenches, admitted, "Some things defied reason." Was there a belief stronger than military discipline, potent enough to pierce time, manifest through a child's eyes? Each morning, gathering dawn's first rays, the Carters sat at the breakfast table, their gazes weaving love, worry, curiosity. They dared not rush to conclusions, yet couldn't ignore the fiery dreams upending their quiet life. Deep within, they sensed an invisible tie between past and present, the unseen and the living. Whatever the truth, through those harrowing nights, Ethan Carter thrust his parents into an extraordinary journey, a quest for the thread linking soul and memory, life and death. As morning fog lifted, the smoke of dreams yet to fade, they clasped hands, pressing forward, awaiting answers to the mystery burning in their child's heart. Ethan's nightmares grew denser, not just haunting nights, but seeping into days, filling his small room with obsessive images. One afternoon, Mike returned from work, late-day sunlight slanting through the window, illuminating his son's desk. Ethan didn't rush to hug his father as usual, but sat still, tiny shoulders hunched, eyes fixed on a blank sheet of paper. On it, colored pencil lines took shape, a plane plummeting toward the sea, its metal frame shattering, the sky ablaze with a fire bursting from the heart. Mike drew a long breath, stepping closer. Beside the first drawing lay countless others, warships smoking on water, wrecked fighters adrift in stormy waves, thick smoke columns piercing the sky like arrows. One sketch vividly depicted a Pacific dogfight, Japanese planes. Ethan called them Zeros and Bettys, lurching amid anti-aircraft fire, wings breaking, spiraling into the sea. Ethan's scrawled note stunned Mike. "This is a World War II battle, Daddy. Japanese planes shot down near an island." A hard-to-name unease surged in Mike. Through his military years, he'd eaten gritty MREs, heard comrades' tales of battlefield ghosts, but never imagined a 2-year-old describing a historic clash in detail. Ethan's days were filled with SpongeBob, NFL games with Dad, no history books or war documentaries. So how did he know Zero, Betty, or a dogfight's structure? Stranger still, every drawing was signed Ethan 3, a mark chilling Sarah and Mike. When Sarah asked about the signature, Ethan gazed at her calmly, saying, "I'm Ethan the Third." Doubt turned to resolve to understand. One evening, with the living room lit, Mike sat Ethan beside him, gently probing. He laid out crayons, blank paper, and asked, "Can you tell Daddy why you draw these scenes?" Ethan paused, his small hand trembling as it grasped a blue crayon, then began sketching a corsair, the legendary fighter. He drew its curved wings, nose engine, flames bursting from the cockpit. Ethan spoke little, but his voice carried a narrative. "I took off from the USS Liberty, Daddy. Me and my friend, Tom Larson, felt strong wind through the canopy. Then, bullets hit the engine. A sharp bang. Fire spread through the cockpit. I tried holding the stick, but smoke choked me. The plane dove to the sea like a stone. Water splashed up. Each word, fire, smoke, choked, dove to the sea, rang in the quiet, stunning mic. A veteran who knew the acrid smell of burning oil, the helplessness of being shot down. He couldn't fathom this from his son. Mike's eyes softened, heart skipping a beat. A staunch Catholic, he trusted God, but dismissed reincarnation as cheap Hollywood fare. He'd seen loss, held dying comrades amid smoke, yet never dared think war's memories could rewind time, inhabit a 2-year-old's mind. Sarah stood silently by the door, hands propping her chin, eyes heavy with sorrow. She recalled sleepless nights, soothing Ethan, wiping his sweat, coaxing him to sleep. Now, watching him calmly recount cockpit flames, she sensed something beyond this small boy, a thread weaving past and present. Seizing every detail, Mike grabbed his phone, opening Google Maps, typing USS Liberty Pacific and Tom Larson Corsair 1945. Results appeared. Coordinates of the escort carrier, names of serving pilots, a timeline of sacrifices. He scrolled the casualty list, pausing at Robert Mitchell, a Wildcat pilot killed in 1945 near Iwo Jima. But Ethan spoke of a Corsair, a mismatch with the Wildcat. Mike frowned, wondering if his son's memory blurred or if another soul shone through those small eyes. Amid the heavy air, Ethan added a line that silenced both parents. "I'm Ethan the Third." The childlike claim rang like testimony to a cycle of rebirth. Third might be a mere number to adults, but from a 2-year-old it was a proclamation, as if he wasn't born anew, but for the third time in time's flow. Mike's eyes stung. He gently ruffled Ethan's hair, hiding his turmoil. Softly, he asked, "Who were you the first 2 times?" Ethan didn't answer, just kept drawing. His tiny, sweaty hand bent intently, as if striving to recreate a past life's final moments. The crayon's scratch became Mike's heartbeat, evoking nights of artillery barrages, shouted orders, cockpit screams. He understood heaven sometimes lets the past breach reason's borders, slipping through the present's shell to remind us of the mystical. Memory doesn't just live in books, but can dwell in souls, regardless of body or era. When the final drawing finished, Ethan looked up, eyes oddly serene. Mike and Sarah, despite doubts, watched him, wondering, were these grim sketches mere products of a prodigious imagination, or mirrors reflecting a pilot's soul? In the quiet, they clasped hands, listening to hearts pounding between present and past, awaiting the next turn in this uncanny tale. Unable to endure more nights of nightmares and grim drawings from his son, Mike resolved to seek the truth. One gentle morning, as Ethan slept soundly, he quietly carried his laptop to the study. Under the warm glow of a yellow lamp, lines of text on the screen emerged like guiding clues. USS Liberty, the legendary escort carrier that ferried soldiers through the Pacific's fierce waves in the summer of 1945. Mike combed through military archives, reading names of pilots recorded on the USS Liberty. There was Tom Larson, who survived a near-fatal crash landing. Then, in the somber roster, he found Robert "Bobby" Mitchell, 21, never returning after his FM-2 Wildcat was shot down near Iwo Jima on March 3, 1945. Each digit, each stamped date in the records sent a shiver. Was Ethan recounting Bobby's story? Yet one detail didn't align. Children often mix things up, but Ethan was precise. He insisted he piloted a Corsair, the Navy's iconic fighter, not a Wildcat. Ethan's tiny fingers had drawn the Corsair's curved wings with accuracy any seasoned pilot would nod to. How could a 5-year-old distinguish two wartime fighters, never watching war films or reading history books? Undeterred, Mike deftly connected with veterans on online forums. He messaged those who served on the USS Liberty, asking about Mitchell. An aging veteran, Hank, a former ship mechanic, confirmed, "Yeah, Mitchell was a young guy full of fire. Luck ran out, shot down near Iwo Jima just before Japan surrendered." Each terse reply weighed on Mike's heart. Fueled by excitement and doubt, Mike contacted a veterans group aiding families of the fallen. Through them, he reached Emily Mitchell, Bobby's only sister. Their first exchange was arranged via video call. Ethan, now 5, sat on a rocking chair, wide eyes gazing curiously at the screen. Across was Emily, silver hair, wrinkles tracing her forehead like time's footprints. "Is that you, Bobby?" Emily asked, voice trembling, as if fearing to lose a long-held hope. Ethan bowed his head briefly, then looked up, calmly saying, "Emmy, it's Bobby." The name Emmy rang sweetly, a nickname only Robert used for her. It broke Emily into sobs. She couldn't believe hearing trivial details only Bobby knew. Their father's nightly whiskey habit, his rehab stay, afternoons with a guitar on the ship's bow, their artist mother's portrait, hung in Emily's bedroom since she was 15. Emily, tearful, said, "You're telling me things only Bobby knew." Ethan sat still, tiny hands sketching in the air as if recreating a distant scene. Days later, Emily sent the Carters a carefully packed box. Inside were sacred relics: Bobby's weathered passport, a USS Liberty scarf, a black and white photo of Bobby beside a Corsair, not a Wildcat. The image showed Bobby in neat uniform, eyes resolute, smile gentle yet determined. Mike's hands trembled holding the photo, heart stalling as he saw the plane Ethan drew. When Sarah showed Ethan the photo, he nodded silently, voice childlike but certain. "That's me, Daddy," he went on, recounting 3 squadron mates: Bill, Walter, Leo. "They waved to me in heaven," he said. Mike realized these were 3 other pilots killed the same day as Bobby, names logged in the ship's diary, etched in casualty lists. Ethan named his 3 G.I. Joe toys after them. Bill, the bold torpedo man, Walter, the fearless gunner, Leo, the third flyer. A question exploded in Mike's mind. How could a child born in 1998, raised in Ohio, with a family fond of cartoons and football, recall exact names, dates, mundane details of pilots from over half a century ago? Between modernity and the past, Mike sensed an invisible force weaving through. He pored over the USS Liberty's logs, read Bobby's letters home, lit incense for departed souls. Each of Ethan's drawings, every small utterance, wove a timeless web of memory. Sarah, an elementary teacher accustomed to children's wild dreams, now yearned to believe in miracles. After reading Ethan bedtime tales, she dimmed the light, sit by the window, gaze at the starry sky. She wondered, are souls immortal? Had Bobby reincarnated, finding the Carters to complete unfinished memories? Strolling a man-made beach near home, Mike and Sarah held hands, listening to waves lap. They didn't need precise answers, only knowing they stood before a mystery beyond reason. Perhaps Bobby's memories echoed ceaselessly, seeking a new soul to finish their tale. One late afternoon, as sunset gilded the sea, Ethan ran to hug his parents. He looked at them with clear, bright eyes, as if saying, "I'm with you, but I'm also part of another story." Mike took a deep breath, feeling his son's warm breath. Sarah whispered, "Sweetheart, whatever the truth, we're always here." The truth's pursuit continued, but whatever the outcome, the Carters learned. Some things defy logical frames, unjudgeable by reason alone. When past and present intertwine, we can only embrace the wondrous with open hearts. In the fading sunset, they turned to their son, eyes brimming with love, faith in the inexplicable. And so, Ethan Carter's journey, the boy bearing World War II memories, kept soaring, inviting us to follow its mysterious chapters ahead. When Ethan turned 6, a special invitation reached the Carter family to attend the annual USS Liberty Pilots reunion in San Diego. Under California's clear blue sky, weathered faces, tanned by sea winds, clad in emblem-printed T-shirts, gathered in an old hall once echoing with planes taking off and landing. Some bore faded medals on their shoulders, others clutched keepsakes, badges once pinned in cockpits. The space brimmed with the scent of aged wood, war memories, as if time's stamp couldn't dim the past's pride. Amid this scene, Ethan Carter, cheeks chubby, eyes blazing, seemed to carry a miniature Pacific sky. His parents guided him through displays of artifacts, from plane schematics to campaign maps. Suddenly, in the crowd, Ethan pointed at a tall man with silver hair, a gentle smile. You were my co-pilot." Voices and gazes fell silent. The man, Jack Reynolds, looked up, locking eyes with Ethan as if seeing his own past reborn. Jack's lips twitched, tears welling, for in the boy's emotive voice, he heard echoes of heroic flights over oceans. Ethan didn't stop there, tirelessly listing USS Liberty's technical details, planes deployed on deck, anti-aircraft gun placements, night vision goggles, wing tilt angles as the ship rode waves. Like a living reel, he recounted the ship hugging swells, anti-aircraft missiles streaking skyward, repelling fierce enemy strikes. No one in the room could believe a naive boy wielded such deep technical battlefield expertise. Some veterans, eyes red, wiped tears, lost in memories of their fiery youth. After the emotional reunion, the tale of the reincarnated pilot boy spread swiftly across local papers, veteran forums. In 2009, as Ethan neared 11, a Japanese non-profit dedicated to linking generations with war memories, funded a Carter family trip to Iwo Jima. The tiny island, once a fierce battleground, now held only weathered white gravestones under autumn's golden shade. Ethan, his fiery nightmares fading, stepped off the plane with unusual eagerness, as if returning to an old base where a tattered map held its final piece. They boarded a small boat, cutting through waves toward the site of Robert Mitchell's plane wreck. Sea breezes carried a briny tang, mingling with the soft flap of taut sails. Sarah gripped Mike's hand, eyes on Ethan, both excited and nervous. Wearing a t-shirt emblazoned with a corsair, Ethan stood proud like a young soldier, watching ripples glint under late sun. Then the sacred moment arrived. Ethan bowed, softly weeping, releasing a bouquet of white flowers, symbols of peace, remembrance, onto the silent water. The ripples cradled the flowers, gently carrying them toward the horizon. Mike watched his son, seeing an uncanny serenity on his face. Gone were panic, haunting dreams replaced by a strange calm. Sarah whispered to Mike, "Look at our little man. It's like a weight lifted from his soul." The 11-year-old looked at his father, voice choked but warm. "That man, he's at peace now, Daddy." That brief sentence, ringing amid lapping waves, carried faith in a journey's end. Past and present merged, witnessing a soul's passage across generations. The sea, gilded orange by dusk, seabirds circling, white flowers drifting far, etched a memory in the Carters, a wordless testament to the miraculous beyond reason. On the return, the family sat in silence. No grand words needed, just calm gazes lightened hearts. Under San Diego's sky, shifting from sunset to night's blue, Ethan sat by the car window, eyes tracing the city's distant lights. He smiled faintly, as if thanking souls that guided him to this moment. Mike rested a hand on his shoulder, whispering, "You did well, Ethan." The boy nodded, meeting his father's eyes gently. "I won't forget, Daddy." In late autumn's peace, the Carters quietly knew that no matter how long the truth's pursuit lasted, they'd found the vital answer. Solace for Robert Mitchell's resting soul, and for a boy bearing war's memories. On San Diego's lamp-lit streets under glistening moonlight, they walked on, steadfast in faith in life's miracles. Thus, the reunion and farewell journey closed, opening a new chapter for timeless mysteries, where soul and memory forever intertwine. In the months following the Iwo Jima trip, the Carter family gradually sank into peace, believing the mystery had found its answer. Ethan no longer startled awake at night, his grim drawings giving way to wholesome games, childish laughter. Mike and Sarah thought the tale of the World War II pilot's soul had closed. But in truth, the mystery persisted like an open book awaiting new pages. Each time Mike entered his son's study, he found Ethan, now a lanky teenager, sitting at his desk, afternoon sunlight streaming through the window, illuminating the faded black and white photo of Robert Mitchell. Ethan rested a hand on the image, smiling faintly, as if greeting an invisible friend. Often he sat silently, eyes distant, face etched with an indescribable pensiveness. Sarah whispered to Mike, He seems to be listening to something, but not a sound we can hear. The father, seasoned by gunfire, felt a pang watching his son immersed in a world of smoldering memories, vivid with war's smoke. Over years, Mike had faced death, gripped an M16, heard eerie tales from Vietnam comrades, shadows drifting through jungle nights. But he was never prepared for memories crossing time, seeping into a child's soul, recounting distant battlefield flames. Some called it a bright child's vivid imagination. Skeptics claimed Mike and Sarah unwittingly coached Ethan for a thrilling tale, or it was a media stunt. But how to explain Ethan naming a drop tank from a comic glance, or calling Zero and Betty, Japanese plane nicknames, with a precision that made seasoned pilots nod? On veteran forums, Mike read comments. Kid probably overheard his parents parroted it. Another countered, "I saw this in the Philippines. A girl spoke the language of the dead, knew their names by heart." Mike recalled a Fort Bragg comrade story of a shadow gliding past their unit at midnight, whispering a fallen soldier's name. He wondered, could something exist beyond reason, which we only name soul? Ethan, now nearing his teens' end, no longer drew catastrophic battle scenes. Instead, he studied technical drawing, aviation history, devoting youth to modern technology. Yet Robert Mitchell's photo remained proudly on his desk, a reminder. No matter how far the path, memory never fades. One day, Sarah glimpsed a YouTube presentation on Ethan's phone about HMS Belfast, a British warship witness to both world wars. Ethan narrated passionately, guiding viewers through engine rooms, anti-aircraft guns, recounting how a Montreal officer's mother painted for gunners at night. Sarah realized memory didn't stop at Bobby Mitchell's story, but expanded, igniting Ethan's thirst to explore history, humanity. In a candid talk, Mike asked Ethan, "Do you believe in reincarnation?" Ethan paused, gazing at the ceiling, then his book-strewn desk. Finally, he smiled softly. "Dad, I don't have an answer, but I believe memories can live forever, even if the body's gone." It wasn't just a bright teen's words, but carried reverence for a life given, lost. Thus, the truth's pursuit never truly ended. It was no longer a series of eerie events, but an inner journey where each person asks, can memory breach time's barriers? Can we accept souls endure, or is it merely intricate psychology? If you've stepped into desolate military bases, heard waves lap old ship decks, or felt dim bunker lights, you've grasped memory's power. It might be a tear welling as you touch a rusted medal, or a child's laugh naming an antique plane. And facing death's mystery, souls never truly leaving what they loved, even the hardest hearts tremble. Today, Ethan Carter's story echoes as a reminder. Some things, unexplainable, still exist. You might scoff, deeming it a child's delusion. Or you might believe wholly that a soul found a new body to finish its task. Whatever your stance, share your thoughts in the comments. Do you believe in reincarnation? Or is it just prodigious imagination? And if this story stirs your heart, even a faint ripple, hit subscribe to join the Carter's history buffs in uncovering mysteries from battlefields, jungles, U.S. bases. Thank you for following this journey through war's fog, fiery dreams, memories' echoes. See you in the next episode, where we'll cross the line between present and past to hear untold tales.